time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, a simple sci-fi film changed the world forever. It introduced us to Jedi Knights, an evil galactic empire, a scruffy-looking nerf herder, and a little droid with a big heart. But what if I told you that the story behind the creation of Star Wars is just as epic and full of drama as the films themselves? From a low-budget passion project to a global phenomenon, the journey of Star Wars is one of ambition, innovation, and a whole lot of a force. Today, we're diving deep into the history of the saga, from George Lucas's original vision to its transformation under Disney, exploring the twists, turns, and controversies that have shaped this beloved franchise. We'll explore how each new trilogy was born, how it was received, and the legacy it left behind. In the early 1970s, George Lucas was a young, ambitious filmmaker fresh off the success of American Graffiti. He wanted to make a space fantasy, a modern fairy tale inspired by classic sci-fi serials like Flash Gordon and the samurai films of Akira Kurosawa. But Hollywood wasn't interested. They saw it as a cheesy B-movie idea. Every studio passed on his proposal until 20th Century Fox, with some reluctance, decided to take a chance. The production of Star Wars, later retitled A New Hope, was a nightmare. The budget was small, the crew was skeptical of Lucas's vision, and the filming locations were a constant battle against the elements. The special effects studio Lucas founded, Industrial Light and Nth, Magic, was in its infancy and struggled to create the groundbreaking visual effects that Lucas envisioned. No one, not even Lucas himself, had high hopes for its success. But when it hit theaters in 1977, it was an unprecedented smash hit. Audiences were captivated by its visual effects, its heroes, and its simple, archetypal story of good versus evil. The film became a cultural event and a merchandising juggernaut, creating a financial empire that funded the next two films in the original trilogy, The Empire Strikes Back in 1980 and Return of the Jedi in 1983. These three films, known as the original trilogy, cemented Star Wars as a timeless classic and built a loyal fan base that would last for generations. Fast forward to the late 1990s. After years of promising fans, he would eventually tell the story of how Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader. George Lucas finally returned to the director's chair. The prequel trilogy, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, was a major undertaking, utilizing groundbreaking digital filmmaking technology. Lucas wanted to tell a different kind of story. These films were more political and focused on the fall of the Galactic Republic and the rise of the Empire. They explored themes of corruption, manipulation, and the tragic choices that lead a good man down a dark path. The fan reception was complicated. The Phantom Menace was initially met with mixed reviews. Fans criticized the focus on politics, the character of Jar Jar Binks, and the heavy use of CGI. Attack of the Clones received similar criticism, but it introduced a new generation of fans to the universe. However, Revenge of the Sith was widely praised for its dark tone and its powerful conclusion to Anakin's story. While the prequels may not have achieved the universal acclaim of the originals, they were a commercial success and expanded the Star Wars lore, spawning animated shows like Star Wars, The Clone Wars, which filled in the gaps between the films and gained critical acclaim. The biggest shift in the history of Star Wars came in 2012 when Disney acquired Lucasfilm for a staggering $4.05 billion. This was a pivotal moment. While George Lucas had his own ideas for a sequel trilogy, Disney decided to forge their own path. They brought back legacy characters and built a new trilogy: The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. The approach was to create films that felt familiar but new. The Force Awakens, directed by J.J. Abrams, was a massive success, praised for recapturing the spirit and adventure of the original trilogy. However, it also drew criticism for being too similar to A New Hope. Then came The Last Jedi, directed by Rian Johnson. It was arguably the most divisive film in the entire saga. Johnson took bold, unexpected turns with the story and characters, subverting fan expectations. While critics and many fans praised its originality and thematic depth, a vocal portion of the fan base felt it disrespected the original characters and the established lore. The final film, The Rise of Skywalker, was a hurried attempt to wrap up the story and please the divided fan base, but it ultimately felt disjointed and lacked a cohesive vision. The mixed reception to the sequel trilogy showed that Star Wars had become a more difficult franchise to manage, pulled in different directions by nostalgia, fan expectations, and creative ambitions. George Lucas himself, while initially saddened by Disney's decision to not use his ideas, has largely stepped back and expressed support for the franchise's new direction. Under Disney's ownership, Star Wars exploded beyond the big screen. The focus shifted to streaming series on Disney+, which provided a new avenue for storytelling. The Mandalorian became a breakout hit, praised for its Western-style storytelling, compelling characters, and the lovable Grogu, Baby Yoda. Other series like Andor and Obi-Wan Kenobi have since continued to expand the universe, with a greater focus on character development and more mature themes. The shift to TV has proven to be a smart move, allowing for more detailed and nuanced stories. It has allowed the franchise to explore different tones and genres, from the gritty spy thriller of Andor to the space western of The Mandalorian. This new era demonstrates that Star Wars is not just a series of movies, but a vast and adaptable galaxy of stories waiting to be told. So, what does the future hold? More movies, more series, and a continuing legacy that proves that no matter who owns the story, the saga of heroes, villains, and a force that binds the galaxy together will always endure. Star Wars is more than just a series of films. It's a cultural pillar, a shared story that unites generations. And that's a legacy worth celebrating.